Now, today my topic of concern is a brief study of nuclear forces. But the nuclear forces is an important topic as far as the MSc paper nuclear physics is concerned. But what is nuclear forces? At least what is a nucleus? We saw an atom. Atom consists of a center core part called nucleus, in which the electrons, that is positively charged protons, and the electrically nil charged neutrons are present inside the nucleus. The electrically negatively charged electrons are revolving around the nucleus. But so many models have been postulated so far. So if we see, first is the Dalton, we have to very indebted to him. Matter is a small indivisible particle called atom. He is the first man to postulate the atomic theory. That is, he described a term called an atom. He coined a word called an atom. After that, we have made a tremendous amount of technology regarding the atomic field, nuclear field, etc., etc. See, the proton, that is the neutrons, are situated inside the nucleus. Normally, almost, that is number of protons almost equal to number of neutrons in the nucleus. But this is not an accurate one. It may be said so. The number of protons and the number of neutrons, if you take into account, for example, the total number of protons and the total number of neutrons in any nucleus of an element gives the mass number. The mass number is always represented as capital A, in which the protons is positively charged, neutrons is electrically nil charged. Sir, I want to take only the total number of protons only. Suppose if we consider the total number of protons only, normally in any neutral atom, the total number of protons is almost equal to the total number of orbiting electrons. The total number of protons alone can account for the atomic number. The atomic number normally represented as Z, capital Z. Suppose I want to take account for the neutron. For example, sir, I want only concerned with the neutron. If you take the total number of neutrons present inside the nucleus, means that will account for the neutron number, which is usually represented as capital N. So the mass number is capital A, the atomic number is Z, the neutron number is N. Therefore, combining all these terms, that is mass number, atomic number, as well as neutron number, you can easily describe, that is given by a relation called capital A is equal to Z plus N. That is capital Z plus capital N, where A stands for mass number, Z stands for atomic number, as well as N stands for neutron number. Here, suppose any nuclei in terms of atomic number, for example Z, suppose Z is equal to 92 and above. Suppose any nucleus of an element having atomic number 92 and above is generally called a heavy element. The element having atomic number less than 92 is called almost lighter elements. This is an approximate value, not an accurate value, for it is an approximately I can say. For example, uranium 232, 92. 92 is the atomic number, 238 is the mass number. So 92 means uranium is a heavy element. If you take carbon element, 6C12, 6 represents atomic number. Definitely 6 is less than 92, so the carbon is a lighter element. So in this way, on seeing the element, we can classify that such element is belonging to heavy element or lighter element. Suppose I want to term in terms of mass number, sir, if you want to wish means, you can take a mass number with respect to 210. If A is equal to 210 and above, you can call it as heavy elements. If element having the mass number below 210, generally called lighter elements. But all the references I have given in terms of atomic number 92 and as well as mass number 210 is only for the basic understanding, not an accurate one also. Just how we can identify on seeing the element, it is a lighter element and a heavy elements. Normally, heavy elements are unstable. That is, nucleus of any heavy elements are probably unstable because of less binding energy. And the nucleus of lighter element is highly stable. And coming to that, suppose I told that we have seen that in a nucleus, there is a total number of protons and a total number of neutrons. For example, the total number of protons, the sum of total number of protons plus total number of neutrons, we expect will give the mass of the nucleus. We can mathematically write it as mass of the nucleus is equal to the total number of protons plus total number of neutrons. But out of our surprise, out of our shock, we find that the experimental confirmation shows that the mass of the nucleus is not at all equivalent to the sum of its individual constituents, that is protons as well as neutrons. In particular or otherwise, the mass of the nucleus is always less than that of the sum of its individual constituents. So we find here there is some difference in mass. This difference in mass, normally in nuclear physics, is termed as mass defect. This mass defect mathematically expressed delta M. So you can write it as the delta M. How means, for example, Mn, where Mn is the mass of a neutron. Mp, M means M suffix P. Mp means mass of a proton. X and A into Z, where A is the mass number and Z is the atomic number. You can write delta M is equal to Mn plus Mp minus X into A, that is Z into A. That means the mass of the nucleus is always found to be less than that of the sum of its individual constituents. Such a mass difference is called the mass defect, usually expressed as delta M. The energy which is equivalent to such a mass defect, we call it as the binding energy of the nucleus. The binding energy is always gives the stability, accounts for the stability of the nucleus. Binding energy means in this way, suppose I find a particular element. The particular element binding energy I found it is 1.4 million electron volts. Suppose if I give such a 1.4 million electron volt on that nucleus, means I can easily release a proton and neutron from that nucleus. So it is the energy required to release a neutron or proton. But in nuclear physics, the word neutron or nucleon generally, which is used to represent a common word, is called a nucleon. The nucleon always used to represent neutron as well as proton. Okay, nucleus singular, nuclei plural. Nucleides means, suppose I have different varieties of nucleus, means it is called nucleides. So in nuclear physics, we should not confuse with the word called nucleus, nuclei, nucleides and nucleons. Okay, and coming to mass defect, we saw that mass difference is called mass defect and corresponding mass energy is called binding energy. The binding energy of a particular element or particular nucleus is divided by its mass number. It will give the average binding energy per nucleon, which is mathematically represented as Be divided by capital A, where A is the mass number. So we can call it as here onwards binding energy per nucleon or average binding energy. Suppose we have a lot of elements. For that we are having so many corresponding mass number and the corresponding average binding energy per nucleon. If you draw a graph between average binding energy per nucleon versus mass number, the curve goes like this. But from this diagram, even though it is not important, but important conclusions can be drawn. Suppose if you observe this graph, means the binding energy, especially average binding energy, is constant over from mass number 30 to 100, and then it increases largely for even small and large values of mass number. The large values of mass number, why? There is a reason. We can explain what is the reason. Decrease in A because of large values means because as the higher order A, that is especially mass number, the total number of protons will be more. Whenever the total number of protons will be more, there will be a chance for electrostatic force of repulsion. This electrostatic force of repulsion makes the nucleus highly less stable. This may be the one of the reason. And also in higher nuclei, whenever the nucleons are only interact with the neighboring nucleons, it will not interact with somewhere else. It will only interact with very nearest nucleon which is attached to it. Therefore, the distance of nucleons is far apart and distance are very longer. This is also one of the reasons for the nucleus can be less stable. And also, apart from that, one more very important conclusion is that from this graph, it is concluded that the nucleus having even number of protons and even number of neutrons is having higher binding energy per nucleon. And these nucleons can pair off with all other nucleons without leaving any residual unpaired nucleon. That is why the nucleus with even number of protons and neutrons is having higher stability. That is why it is called high stability means this is one of the favorable reason for it. Coming to the main point of concern, nuclear forces. Suppose let us concentrate our attention towards the core of the nucleus. What the nucleus actually consists of? Protons and neutrons. We don't bother about neutrons because it is electrically nil charged. It cannot be neither deflected by electric or magnetic field. But however, we take care of the protons because protons are positively charged. Hence, as the number of protons are increasing in a particular nucleus means the total electrostatic force of repulsion will be more. As the electrostatic force of repulsion more means it will make the nucleus completely to be disrupted, or any nucleus can be completely broken down. But against our belief, against the normal, all the nucleus or nuclei are said to be stable. How is it possible? Actually, lot of disruption is in the form of electrostatic repulsion inside the nucleus. So there is no chance for any nucleus to be in stable condition. But is it so? No. All the nucleus are said to be in stable condition. So how is it possible for such a nucleus to withstand such a highly electrostatic repulsion given by the protons? It is one of the questions. Or what makes the nucleus to be in stable conditions? For example, coming to the fundamental forces, you all know electromagnetic force, gravitational force, electromagnetic force. Force means, suppose if I say force between A and B means there is something is exchanged between A and B. That is, we say A is exerting a force on B, B is exerting a force on A. Force, whenever the word force is mean, something is exchanged. Suppose in the case of first force, we can see electromagnetic force. So in this way, electromagnetic force, if I say means what is exchanged in the case of electromagnetic force prevails. I say the main field particle concerned is called photons. Photon is responsible or concerned field particle for the transmission of electromagnetic force. Such a photon particle is, it means 0 raised to mass and 0 mass and no charge at all. Coming to next fundamental force, that is called the gravitation force. We know the common fact, anything which is thrown upwards is easily attracted towards the ground. Suppose I am throwing a chalk piece, it is easily attracted towards the table. So what is exchanged between the chalk piece and the table? Because you can say because of gravitational force. Once you say gravitational force means what type of field particle is exchanged between my chalk piece and the blackboard. But in this way, as the photon is responsible for the existence of gravitational force, here the field particle responsible for the prevailing of the gravitational force is the gravitons. However, the existence of gravitons is still experimentally to be determined, but its presence is felt. But experimentally, we have to confirm the presence of gravitons. These gravitons are the responsible for the prevailing or existence of gravitational force between any two interacting masses, which is 0 raised to mass, no charge, etc., which is traveling with the velocity of c. But its spin is said to be intrinsic spin of 2. But it is predicted that it is having the intrinsic spin of 2. Experimentally, it has also been confirmed. So, how the photons are responsible for the electromagnetic force, how the gravitons are responsible for the existence of gravitational force, Yugawa, a Japanese scientist, he proposed, based on the above analogy, what we have seen so far, how a photon is responsible for the gravitational force, how the gravitons is responsible for the gravitational force, why there is a continuous exchange of force between the nucleons, that is between proton-proton, between proton-neutron, between neutron-neutron. He predicted without any experimental confirmation, but however he told that there is a continuous exchange of particles between the nucleons. These particles are very freely exchanged between nucleons. Such a force, we call it as nuclear force. The nuclear force existing between proton-proton called the pp force. Existing between neutron and proton is called the np force. Existing between neutron and neutron is called the nn force. But all the forces are equal in magnitude. We can't say Nn will be greater, Np will be lower, much more lower, we can't say. All are equal in magnitude. He also proposed a name for the particle which is responsible for the exchange between the nucleon. He named it as mesons or pions, P-I-O-N-S. These mesons or pions, even though it was theoretically predicted by Yugawa without any experimental confirmation, fortunately, 10 years, 11 years or 15 years later, it was experimentally confirmed the presence of mesons as well as pi mesons, etc. But these mesons, unlike photons and gravitons, are having finite mass and also charged, but however, their spin is 0. These nuclear forces, that is, which is responsible for means, such nuclear forces are mainly responsible for the stability of the nucleus. I put forth one question: how a nucleus is said to be stable, even though a lot of repulsion between inside the nucleus? Because such a nuclear force protecting the nucleus to withstand given by the electrostatic force of repulsion by the protons. And also, apart from that, I told that these mesons or pions are having charge. What is charged means, these mesons are classified as pi meson, that means positive mesons pi plus, negative mesons pi minus, and neutral mesons pi 0. I told that where are the pi positive mesons are exchanged, at what places the negative mesons are exchanged, at what places the neutral mesons are exchanged, you may ask. For example, if you take neutron and a neutron, if you take proton and a proton, so same particle, same nucleon. Whenever there is a same nucleon like neutron, neutron, proton, proton, then neutral mesons are exchanged between. But however, there is a proton, there is a neutron, so different particle in which you can't say neutral mesons are exchanged. Here, charged mesons are exchanged, I can say. How the charged mesons are exchanged between a proton and a neutron? For example, a neutron which is emitting a negative meson becomes a proton. The proton, on receiving this negative meson, becomes a neutron. On the other hand, on the reverse, we can say the proton which is emitting positive becomes a neutron. The neutron, on receiving this positive meson, becomes a proton. That is why between proton and a neutron, charged mesons are exchanged. Therefore, the neutral mesons are exchanged between proton, proton and a neutron, neutron. However, the charged mesons are exchanged between a proton and a neutron, and the above illustration will make you understand very clearly. Coming to the basic properties of nuclear forces, first I will say the nuclear force is the strongest known force in nature so far. We may gravitational force, we may electromagnetic force, we may frictional force, whatever may be the force available in physics, but so far it is discovered that it has been felt that the nuclear force is the strongest force. For example, for an understanding, the nuclear force is almost 10 to the power of 37 times greater than the electrostatic force of repulsion between the protons, and 100 times greater than the gravitational force between the neutrons. And secondly, the nuclear forces are very short range forces. For example, the range will be 1.4 Fermi. Fermi is a measurement. 1.4 Fermi is equal to 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. So 1.4 Fermi up to which the nuclear force will existence. If you go beyond this distance means the nuclear force will vanish and Coulomb force will dominate. And coming that, the nuclear force is charge independent. Charge independent in the sense means whatever may be the nuclear force exists between Nn or Nn force or Pp force or Pn force, the magnitude of the nuclear force is same, equal in magnitude. You cannot say the Nn force will be greater and Np force will be lesser in this way. So that is charge dependent. Coming to next one, the nuclear forces are spin dependent. What is spin dependent in this case here? For example, the two nucleons having the parallel spins. Two nucleons may have the anti-parallel spins. But it is experimentally observed that the force of attraction between the nucleons having parallel spin is much more stronger than the force of attraction between the nucleons having anti-parallel spins. And the nuclear forces are very short and limited forces, very short range forces. Coming to one, the nuclear forces are non-central forces. And the nuclear forces are exchange forces. Exchange forces means the pions or mesons are freely exchanged. That is positive mesons, negative mesons, neutral meson are exchanged. How these are exchanged, I explained just earlier. Between the proton and neutron and neutron, the neutral mesons are freely exchanged. And between proton and a neutron, charged mesons are freely exchanged. Next one, the nuclear force are not at all gravitational forces. So gravitational force is separate, in which the gravitons are the field particle. And these nuclear forces is not at all electrostatic forces, because in the case of electrostatic force means in electromagnetic force, the photons are the field particle. That is why in the nuclear physics or in the nuclear force, the mesons are the quanta for the nuclear field. How the photons are quanta for the quantum field, the mesons are the quanta for the nuclear field. These mesons are freely exchanged between any nucleon, either proton or neutron, and apart from that, these nuclear forces is highly responsible for the stability of the nucleus. Without nuclear force, we can't imagine about the stability of the nucleus, because it is possible for any nucleus which is always in disrupt condition. Any nucleus can be broken. And also, the same scientist Yugawa graphically plotted a Yugawa potential where he given the relations, because I am not interested in going these relations very interestingly, but not at all. Apart from that, basically the Yugawa potential relation shows that V of R, where V of R is a Yugawa potential which is given by minus G square e power minus mu R by R, where G is the undetermined constant so far. You can't still it is to be determined. But however, the G occupies a very fine and important place in the meson theory of nuclear forces. So far, summarizing all the above what we have seen so far, how a nucleus is said to be stable, what are all the fundamental forces in which field particles are responsible for the existence of gravitational forces and electromagnetic forces. Similarly, how the mesons are responsible for the nuclear forces. What is the assumption given by the Yugawa? He told that there is a continuous exchange of particles which are freely exchanged between the nucleons. He named the particle is mesons or pi muons. But unlike photons and gravitons, the mesons are completely charged, and also they are having finite mass. It is roughly or approximately estimated as the mass of a meson is 273 times the mass of an electron. And these are all completely charged as well as having finite mass. However, their intrinsic spin is 0. And I gave the list of the basic properties of the nuclear forces, and finally concluding that the nuclear force will be the mainly responsible for the stability of the nucleus.